Our first inductee is Gary Pitts. In 1981, the Mules signed a pair of Tulsa high school players who would make a major impact on the Mules football program, Gary Pitts and Adrian Andrews. I think the fact that both gentlemen are here today as Hall of Fame inductees says a lot about just how lasting that impact has been. Maybe the best way to describe Gary was a tackling machine. In the Mules' 1983 MIAA Championship season, he was first as a full-time starter. He earned the team's MVP award, leading the team in tackles with 133 and averaged 12 tackles every game. Gary and his wife Rhonda live in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, a suburb of Tulsa. They have two daughters, both of whom have their college degrees. Ashley received her bachelor's and master's degrees at Southwest Baptist and is currently an assistant women's basketball coach at Rogers State. And Bria has her bachelor's degree from Oral Roberts. Gary served in the Tulsa Police Department for 22 years before retiring. Now he works as a police officer in the Tulsa School District and also is an assistant girls basketball coach at one of the Tulsa high schools. He said he chose Central Missouri because he was recruited by then assistant coach Emmett Thomas, who was a Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Famer, and because he had a great time during his visit to Warrensburg. His best UCM memory was winning the MIAA title in 1983. He wants to thank his Lord and Savior, his parents, Clarence and Irma Pitts, who didn't miss a game in his Mules career, as well as the rest of his family. His coaches and teammates, and especially his linebacker coaches with the Mules, Rick Patterson and Brent Evans, for helping make this day possible for him to become a Hall of Famer. Now let's enjoy a video tribute to Gary Pitts.
Arriving at UCM in 1981, linebacker Gary Pitts was recruited by then head football coach Alan Moldy. Pitts came to the Mules from Tulsa's McLean High School. When former Mules head coach Terry Nolan took over the program in 1983, he appreciated the tenacious style of play Pitts displayed from his linebacker position.
He was an outspoken, dynamic player that would run to the ball and make sure that there was going to be an explosion once he made contact.
Nolan was on a mission to elevate the stature of the Mules football program and take Central Missouri to the top of the MIAA conference. To reach his goal, he and his staff would develop a team that was physically and mentally better prepared than their competition.
We would get them up at 1 o'clock in the morning when they were fatigued, and we would go out and we'd run a 50-play script with offense and defense, and we wanted to set an example as to what it was going to be like in a fourth quarter situation, to where they would understand being able to overcome that mental fatigue and that physical fatigue and excel. They did that extremely well. In the end, we were able to win that first conference championship.
One of the major tests for the 1983 Mules was a game against highly rated Sam Houston State University. Gary Pitts and his Mules teammates were not fazed by their opponent's top 10 ranking in Division I AA.
Here, I think they were a 3-touchdown favorite. It was our third game of the season, I believe, and not supposed to have been a contest, but again, in that particular game, I think Gary had between 15 and 20 tackles against a 1AA school.
Scott Loveland was the Mules starting quarterback from 1981 through 1984. Loveland says practicing against his own defense and linebacker Gary Pitts was a formidable challenge that made the team better.
Practicing against Gary and that defense, they were very, very good. They didn't allow many points. It was practically impossible to run on them, and we had some success in practice throwing against them a little bit, but to run against them was pretty doggone tough.
Gary Pitts was the type of individual that you can develop a defense around to set the tone. And it was through his actions on the field that allowed us to be successful, because Gary Pitts had the skill and the knowledge and the ability to make sure that things were going to get done at a very high level.
More than 3 decades later, Pitts remains 5th all-time in career tackles with 302. He's 3rd all-time in tackles in a single season with 133. His tenacity and will helped lead a resurgence in the Mules football program that his teammates, coaches, and fans won't forget.
Gary was the ultimate competitor. He could be intimidating. Absolutely a great teammate.
The 1983 Mules football team helped reestablish a program that remains a respected MIAA power.
It was so special that, like yesterday, they helped develop something that has continued to build to this day. And without people like a Gary Pitts on the defensive side and without an Adrian Andrews on the offensive side, that doesn't happen.
We had all conference players all over that defense. And for him to be the leader of that defense, I think that's why he absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.